Hey, what's
up?
Hey.
All right.
Hello.
What up, fools?
What up, fools?
Yeah.
I'm
Last episode, it's so funny. Like I've just been doing the wildest shows. So last episode, obviously the whole episode was dominated by me performing at a swingers resort.
yeah.
You know. And then also we had touched because we're trying to talk about like philosophical mindsets that people inhibit, and you see it all in Instagram. There's like Instagram stories. We had talked about the power of one warrior, the divorcee people,
Yeah.
like those type of people, and then we didn't
clearly hurt people who are posting motivational quotes.
Clearly they're posting this as it's an exercise that the therapist told them to to own their power or something. And that I think I have such a wide eclectic group of people in my Instagram, so I see all these different mindsets. So the last one we talked about was like the overly aggressive positive, like the David Goggins.
Yeah.
He's like the Navy SEAL that does ultra marathons. He really runs 100 miles more or more. And I only have a couple of people like that. They're really fit to see. You know, I have one guy. He's a comedian, but he's actually pretty prominent. And him and his wife now, they're national traveling comedians. He used to be like 330 pounds. Then he lost a bunch of weight by running. And he does ultra marathons.
Wow.
And it's so funny because it's just funny to see the shift from that, like, almost like he was like, yeah, get high and eat chocolate cake, and now he's just like, you know what, you got to believe in yourself, and like it's like, all right, dude.
I think a lot of people seem to go from like a drug problem, gambling problem, and they'll replace that with fitness because it, like Dr. Phil says, you got to replace something with something else. I think other people say
that's how I started comedy.
Yeah.
My uncle was in rehab, and part of his rehabilitation was a music program. And he started doing talent shows, and he convinced me to do comedy on one of his talent shows. So so I technically got started. That's why I've actually performed at a couple of rehab facilities, and I've explained that story, and then like kind of talked about my uncle. But I don't like to talk about, if it's someone else's story, I don't like to talk about it like it's my own, because I have relatives that do that.
Yeah.
Where like let's say they overhear you and Kelly talking about your vacation in Italy.
Yeah.
For your honeymoon, they'll go retell that story as if they were there, and it's not on stage. Like I do that sometimes on stage. I embellish a little bit because it's just me telling stories.
What if the people ask follow-up questions?
No, they were like, well, I was in Italy. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a psychosis type thing.
That's funny.
But
I wonder what that is. I wonder what that satisfies. But yeah,
I think it's a narcissism thing, honestly. Where they can't physically fathom them not being the center of attention of anything.
I know. Well, yeah. That's really fun. That's funny. I feel like that happens to people who don't travel enough.
Yeah.
Or like meet enough people or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I, even when I talk about things that aren't my particular story on stage, I address the context.
Yeah.
Not some of my relatives. They are like, they will retell the story and just replace Dan and Kelly with them and somebody else. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
I would love to hear that.
It's unbelievable.
It is insane. That's insane behavior. But
this is how I caught on. This is how we caught on to it. We were in the room as they're telling our story to other people, and I was like, "Is this a story where I was the?" And they're like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, can I tell the story? Can I tell the actual fucking?" It's wild, dude.
I hate. Speaking of narcissists, do you ever meet a narcissist who's successful because they are a narcissist? You're clearly successful because you're a maniac. You know?
Like that's what most fitness people are.
Yeah, most fitness people are. But like the money version of that.
Oh God.
Okay,
Yeah.
And I always think like they're funny because if you talk to them, they are always just consumed with money, but they also will say things like, "Oh, you just got to work hard." Like if you work hard, Yeah. You're like it's not fucking like opportunity doesn't come into play,
Yeah.
And they're like, you just work hard, and then this is it. This is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens, and you're like, man, I don't think I don't know. It's crazy. People like that,
No, those people
they're disgusting.
They're frustrating and annoying because they never take other things into account. They so no, I
Yeah.
just like they're always trying to create this motivational speak or narrative, like to rehash to other people.
Yeah,
You know, because none of them are never gonna be like, well, also my dad was part of the chair, he's part of the
Yeah,
board,
yeah.
or I had sex with the professor, and so therefore, like they're never gonna say any of that shit.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of, and yeah, they're very like non-human. There's like a lot of they're like not human quality about them. They're very like robotic and
Yeah,
like work robots.
and it's so frustrating because I understand, like, at this point, from being so many years into like the world of entertainment, there's a level of sacrifice for your human relationships, like your
Yeah,
friends and your actual,
yeah.
And
It's
these
like
people are-
it's
these people-
beneficial to limit your personal and social. So you keep when you're a comic, your social life could be just being out at shows and mics and stuff.
Yeah,
So you don't even need like to be like, oh, I'm gonna go to the beach with my friends, because you're just out and
yeah,
you're just like you're doing comedy is your social life, and then personal life really can be a detriment.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started comedy, a veteran comic at the time was like, he's congested.
Oh.
He said, a good job and a good woman will ruin your comedy career.
Yeah,
And I was like months into stand up.
yeah.
And I used to always think about that.
That's so funny. That one of our first comedy mentors told me, because I was actually had a girlfriend when I started comedy,
Yeah.
and he goes, are you guys serious?" And I go, "We've been together a while." He goes, "You know," he goes,
There's just no way it'll work.
"Yeah." Well, no, he was basically was like, he's like, "Well, one of the two things is gonna work, but they can't both." And I was like,
I truly believe that. And there's sort of I feel like that's true. And I feel like you have one way to make it work. And I also still don't think this works everywhere. Like, I don't think this would work in like New York or LA, maybe LA, but not New York. But you need to find someone who's okay with like being alone or like enjoys alone time.
"Yeah,
And then they're like happy to see you go out. And then you need to have trust.
yes."
It's like
God,
trust
yeah.
and
trust
then,
trust and communication.
trust, and then but they have to like, because if you have a spouse, like a lady or a guy who's like, why are you going out every night? Where are you going? Who are you with? That would that
Oh,
can't-
yeah,
it
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
happen, because you really could use comedy as an excuse to cheat if you wanted to, because
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, I have to go to this show. We're hanging out. People are hanging out after. We're going to get food. Whatever it is.
Yeah,
But some people like my wife she likes that. She's like, oh, you're going out, thank God. Like,
yeah.
so
Yeah, there's a couple
It's
of
helpful.
comics I've met that are like, there's Richard Aragon.
Yeah.
He did the smart move. I mean, not that he's ever gonna be a cheater or whatever, but let's say he was. He started his comedy career by bringing his wife to everything, and then she was like, "I am done with this.
Yeah.
Go do your fucking
that's
shit."
smart, but just burn her out.
Oh God, burn her out, dude. Yeah, and she is because I mean, not
goes-
only did she go to the mics
I
and the
can't
shows
stand these
and
losers.
the hang, so she knows the routine.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, hey, you know the routine. Cool. I'm gonna be home, away from those fucktards.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I said fucktards, but
Yeah, everyone's nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're all kind of
yeah.
autistic, whatever.
Yeah, we're in a weird time frame where like words that were cancelable. It's like, oh, you're gonna cancel me? Do you see what our president's doing? Like,
I know.
you can't cancel me. Like,
Oh my God, they do like, yeah, they're going nuts.
yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's no good.
Yeah, we had kind of addressed that that almost like toxic positive mindset of like, just do it.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, you're first of all, you're not taking into account for all these other factors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the amount of sacrifice, like, oh cool, like what if you're not someone who could just like So you want me to murder my kids and wife?
Right,
to,
yeah,
to be
like if you,
successful?
your circumstance, where you're born, your
Oh, God.
like genetics. There's
Yeah.
a million things that go into all of it, and yeah, a lot of people, they're like, just work hard, and that's part of it. But you could also work really hard and not much could happen.
Yeah,
That's
that's me at every job I did before stand up. Every major job, I busted my ass. Like my body is. I shouldn't be as broken as I am for a non-pro wrestler, professional athlete. But I was just like, because that's a thing that's a mindset they teach you when you grow up poor, is like you don't have the advantage of having an uncle in the boardroom. You like if you want
like the nepotism and stuff.
I didn't have the advantage of nepotism, and even then my nepotism only got me to the middle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it was like, you want to be noticed, you put a backbone in it, and they'll notice that. And in some cases they do, but they don't really. You're not getting management spots. You're getting lower management, or
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was a trainer at a lot of my jobs. Like I was like I got paid a little extra to train people and stuff like that. I mean, they people noticed, but it wasn't like I went out for a supervisor on a couple jobs, and they were like, "Oh yeah, well, we went with this guy who's got a 4-year degree." I'm like, "When the hell did you expect me to get a 4-year degree? I started this job right out of high school." Like, they're like, "Oh, but like, you could go to college now." I'm like, "I work 60 hours a week. How am I supposed to go to college?" Like, it was insane. Some of the expectations.
Did you train for a while? Did you personal train people for a while?
Not like physical, like a gym. I personal trained a job. Like I was a trainer on my job.
Trainer at your job. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like so I
thought you were like a personal trainer.
No. Now there was a point where I was a gym rat, and I would just I would work out, and people would be like, "I like that exercise. Those calves are huge. What you doing?" That type of thing.
I went to a trainer once when I was in California, and it was this really nice guy. We like hit it off.
Yeah.
And we're like, buddies. And he
Yeah.
was a good trainer.
Yeah.
But he was like not. Some trainers are like crazy intense.
Yeah.
He was like not easy, but he was almost like you were like, oh, let's just go work out. Like he's like, I'll like guide you through stuff, and he would like, but it was like, but anyway, I was like, I enjoyed him because he got me started.
Yeah.
And then I like re-upped. I did like a few more weeks or whatever the package was.
Yeah.
And then he left that job.
Oh shit.
And they're like, you're gonna be, Steve left. You're gonna be with, I don't forget her name.
Yeah.
Call her Wanda. And in walked like China from the WWE.
Oh god damn, dude.
She was like this jacked, huge muscle lady, and she was like, go on the ab ball and do push-ups, and like it was like insane intense, and I like just couldn't do it, and I just didn't go back.
Yeah.
I just never went back.
Oh, that's funny. It's so funny that you said that, because the polar opposite of like that intensity thing is Steve the trainer.
Yeah.
I think his is a good balance where it's chill, but it's also like he takes it serious enough.
Yeah.
Like recently, after I did the drag show, and I hung out with some friends afterwards. We went to an Airbnb, and I was drinking at the venue. They were buying me drinks at the venue, and then I had parked at their Airbnb, and we all Ubered to the venue. So it was like a mile and a half away. It was like super close.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm staying in an Airbnb. Mile and a half Uber. We're talking like maybe a $6 even at night type of fee or whatever.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm gonna drink. So I had several drinks, and then we went back to the place, and they had more drinks, and then they had Delta-9, and we were talking about that earlier, but like I didn't know what it was. It's just basically it tastes like a White Claw, but if like I don't know, melted in several edibles in it. That's what it was. I drank.
It's like some kind of loophole, right? Because it's like legal in a lot of states, but that doesn't have like recreational marijuana laws.
It's scary that it's legal in a way, because this thing fucked me up.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
You gotta wonder what's in them too. Like I guess I don't know what that is, but I've heard a commercial for it, and it said it was like, oh, it's like a molecule off regular stuff.
Oh shit!
But I don't know that. I don't know that that's true.
But
I
the
don't know
problem
the
was
science.
they were giving me like White Claws and shots, so I just
Yeah.
got used to chugging things throughout the night.
Yeah, yeah.
So they poured me a glass of this Delta-9 because they only had like a couple cans of it, and they're like, you don't need a whole can. This is enough. And they're like, well, I was like, I'll see about that. You know? And I chugged it, and I was like, all right, well, I guess it's just like edibles what the wait. And boy, buddy, when it kicked in, I was just like, I was literally sitting on the couch, and my eyes, like my eyelids and stuff were blinking.
Yeah.
I had control of my limbs, but it did not feel like I did. It was like,
Were you like passing out?
no, I was like
Sedate.
hyper focused.
Oh.
But the rest, when some people are hyper focused on something, they're fidgety or whatever. No, like just completely relaxed, as if I was sleeping. To the point where they actually one of them poked me because they thought I was sleeping with my eyes open.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just like,
You're just
just taking in all of this Reese
Zoned
Witherspoon rom com, and
That's so
I was
funny.
and I used to know people that would get high like that all the time, and I was like, how do you function
With
like,
Delta-9?
no, not with Delta-9, but just high to that
Oh.
level all the time.
Oh yeah.
Going back to when I was in middle school, high school, and I was like, my thing is like I have to have a sense of urgency to some degree.
Yeah.
And like in that moment, like if someone broke in the house, I'm fucked. I'm not fighting them. I'm gonna be like, hey man, you want
They
to
break in. They're like, "Are you okay, sir?"
Yeah, he's checking on
They're
me.
poking on. They
he's-
poke you.
He's checking my pulse before he shoots me. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like,
We're robbing you.
Yeah,
You just go back to sleep.
yeah. Just leave my IDs. Take all the money. I don't give a shit about that. The IDs are hard to replace. You know, like.
I just got a new ID.
Oh, did you? Which one?
Driver's
Driver's
license. Like
Oh.
I replaced because when I told you when I went to California, on the way back I got into an argument with a TSA agent. They were like, we went in San Diego. There's 2 gates to go
Yeah.
back, and we went through the wrong one, and we went through and we were like, oh shit, it's the wrong gate. Gotta go back. So we're going through the second one. Kelly goes ahead of me. I get up and I give her my license as you do.
Yeah.
Go into the security. And she goes, you need another form of identification. I can't tell this is you. And there was like a scratch on my forehead in my picture of my old license.
Yeah.
But you could clearly see it's me. It's just it was like a little, looks like almost like a reflection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go, what? And I go, that's my, I actually went through the gate. I go, it's the wrong way. And I go, that's me. I go, look. I go, it's me. I lift my glasses up.
Yeah.
And she goes, sir, step back. And I was like, what? And she goes, you need a different form of ID. I'm not accepting this. Like my driver's license. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? Like, I don't have another. What do you mean? I go, I got credit cards. I got
Yeah.
everything has my name. It's the same name. I go, but I don't have photo ID other than that. I go, I have my work. She goes, you need a photo government ID. I go, I have it. It's right there. And I point to the thing, and we started like going back and
Yeah.
forth. I was getting mad.
Yeah. Well, I would.
And she goes, you can't. This my system won't read this. You can't recognize this picture. I don't know if it's you. And I go, I already went through the gate. And she was like, you know, we're going back and forth. I was real. As soon as it went through, she called someone over.
Yeah.
And they just typed like numbers from my license in,
Yeah.
and it was fine. I guess that will bring your picture up in the system.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was like no big deal at all.
Yeah.
She just was like being awful.
Yeah.
And I forget what I said to her. Something very, very sarcastic.
Who was the other person? Were they?
They were just like another like higher up person for
male
TS.
or female?
It was I think it was a guy.
Probably a guy.
Do we go full misogynist podcast?
I mean,
but no, it was real. I think I said, I hope you enjoy your day at the airport or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad. I hated her. She was a real, but yeah, it was probably a guy.
Yeah. As someone who used to work security,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of our female counterparts in that security world were
Would they just take their personal stress out on people.
No, they just had a chip on the shoulder. And instead of dipping that chip in some salsa and eating it, they wanted to take it out on you, a man. You know,
Yeah.
it happened pretty often. Yeah,
Yeah, it was funny. It was like,
That's okay.
I just thought it was so funny because I had gone through the other one. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So I forgot what we were
Yeah.
talking about. What we were talking about before that. That was a hard tangent.
Oh, we were talking about Delta-9. And,
Oh yeah, you were getting messed up.
yeah. That's a.
I took kava once.
What did that do to you?
I think it was kava. It was like I want to say it was, but I did it, and then I did like a 20-minute set after that. It was years and years ago, but I remember feeling loosey goosey. Like I just felt like I had like zero like I don't get nervous once I'm started on stage. I'm sure I don't know if you get nervous at all, but like I felt so loose on stage and just sort of mellow and and I was like, man, this is like a cool. I wouldn't want to feel like that all the time because I like feeling like sharp on stage or quick, but it was definitely a fun like. It would be fun to do it for like an open mic or something, just to like.
Yeah, that's the thing I like.
Spit stuff out.
That's the thing I like about those things. Like this got me too high, but the one thing about
it sounds like
they got me too high. But the one thing I like about these like whatever edibles and Delta-9s and whatever is as someone who's been rough on their body, who's like chronic pain is just it's the normal for me.
Really?
Like some type of aches and pains and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
what's hurting you now?
My calves, my neck, my elbow, my shoulder. Like, you know.
Oh, that much?
All the time. I constantly have to be loose. I have to be limber, like someone's doing gymnastics, just to have regular mobility. Like it's just
you gotta get.
I gotta like do
fingered
stretches
in the locker room.
It's fucking. Well, yeah. What's it?
I said you gotta get fingered in the locker room.
Yeah, man. I
gotta get coach.
Yeah, I gotta have a coach give me a
digitally penetrate
unlicensed colonoscopy. Yeah. If I'm not getting diddled in my prostate, I'm not having a good day.
You're not on Team USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, so it loosens my muscles and stuff in such a way that it's like, oh man, I feel comfortable for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, because I have spine stuff. I have stenosis. I have herniated discs. I have like all this stuff. I have no curvature in my cervical vertebrae. You're supposed to have like a curvature. I don't have any of that shit. Like, yeah, it's just. Some of it's congenital, and then some of it's just I spent 7 years fighting people, against their will for a long time.
Yeah,
my height difference is such a contrast to a lot of the people I fought that they said legally I didn't have to hold back. I could just full on fight people.
You're like, all right,
with no repercussions. Yeah, but no repercussions. My ass is like
you check in. You're like, are you sure?
You sure about that? You sure? Yeah. But then I mean, also when you work out, a lot of people don't realize this or they don't tell you this. Like the workout. Like I used to be a gym rat. Like when I was in high school. Like,
yeah.
I was a fat kid, and then I transitioned into joining the weight club, and then doing workouts and all this stuff like that. What they don't tell you is when you stop doing that, all that muscle you built, it just turns to shit. But the thing is, you tensed up your body. Like I was also doing a lot of improper working out because I didn't have a trainer.
Well, yeah, and also like we came up in a time where it was like powerlifting.
Yeah,
and, like, it wasn't.
It was all about aesthetics. It wasn't about function.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's so yeah. I had this body where I just like beat it to shit trying to do too high of a number on the squat. I didn't need to try for 700 pounds. I don't know.
I just started working out again, and whenever I work out now, like since the last like 2 years, I want to say, maybe even longer than that. But every single time I start working out, something hurts. Like I hurt myself. And even like I'm like very mindful. I'm like, oh, I'll go light weights. I'll do like very proper technique and all that, and
Yeah.
My body just hurts.
What kind of one of the things I did notice, and this is a discussion I had with like physical therapists after getting an couple injuries,
Yeah.
is a lot of people, and this was me. When you go to work out after months, years, or whatever, being sedentary and not being active, you want to jump into certain exercises. The problem is where the aches and pains come from are not your primary muscles; they're your stationary muscles. They're your
Because my elbow hurts.
yeah.
Right, and it was like, I don't know if it was from some sort of lifting.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and it was some sort of inflammation of something on your elbow.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt right now, but it was like for days. And then it went away, and I was like, I could lift again. And immediately
Yeah.
came right back, and I was like, God damn it. I would feel so useless, like but I do yoga and shit, like try to do like
Yeah, I think that's where I want to be.
and
at
nutrition is the thing. Like diet is like the one of the main or a thing,
Yeah, like I didn't realize how much weight I had lost from like probably I lived in Orlando. I moved back from Orlando in like 2018.
Yeah.
And then I would intermittently go back and forth. Actually, before lockdown, even though I moved back, I was back in Orlando pretty often to the point where a lot of people didn't even know I moved. And the thing
I saw that burrito place or the Mexican place you like.
Oh, Gringos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove by that when I was down there.
So I just went recently. I did a couple shows back in Orlando with people I hadn't worked with in a long time, and they were like, "Dude, what'd you do?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I looked at old pictures.
You're
from
like, I'm
last...
Jacksonville's sexiest man, don't you know?
Oh yeah, did you know? Yeah, no, but I had lost like at least 60 pounds from the last time I worked with that particular comic.
Oh wow.
And they were like, "What'd you do?" And I was like, then I just had to think about what I've been doing, and I was like, "Oh, I know the biggest thing." Is you're talking about diet. I just don't eat the same way.
Yeah.
Like today, today I got some food. I'm trying to remember what I got. Shit, what did I eat? I don't even remember. Fuck. It was
water.
I had some food, but the thing is, anytime I went to a buffet recently with my brother, and I ate until I was content and I stopped. I didn't go any further. I didn't feel the need to.
Yeah.
To justify the value of the meal like I used to. I'm like, well, I paid $20. I'm eating $20 worth of food. Like,
yeah, or just eating till you're so full that you're like,
I don't like that.
you're like
I don't like that feeling.
comatose.
No, I don't like that feeling.
I know. I hate it too.
And so that was the difference. In those days, I don't know if it was depression. I don't know. It was, I would eat until I was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel as miserable as I felt emotionally. Like, I was like, I want my tum-tum to match my head meat, like, yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe like deep down you're trying to make something else uncomfortable to not think about the mental discomfort.
Yeah, and it makes sense too.
We need a psychologist on here. The dogs don't know.
Yeah. The dogs don't know shit, and they're just like, hey,
what's the answer? They don't know.
They're like, all I know is pets, food, pets, shit, and walk, and
Treats.
pets, and food again. And
Yeah.
then jumping on people's legs. Whenever you get a chance.
Yeah.
But I think another thing is I never really drank or smoked weed or did edibles at that particular time. So my only vice was food.
Oh yeah.
I was also in the middle of a dry spell, what I mean? Again, so I wasn't doing anything, any other vice type stuff except food. That was
That's
my
hard
only...
too because especially if you're single and then it's hard because it's really like you have to eat and then it's comforting to have like just junk food or like something that's bad for you, but yeah, it's so depressing. I remember I would when I worked at the Comedy Store, I was working full-time job during the day. I worked there at night, and then I was also getting an MBA. So it was like and it was insane. I was like losing my mind.
Oh yeah,
because I was so much spread thin and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like so depressed because I was like enjoying myself, but I was like, this is like rough living.
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now. and I used to get a burrito on the way home from the Comedy Store, so it would be like midnight.
Yeah.
So I would eat like a fat fucking like California burrito, which is
Okay.
probably like 5,000 calories, you know.
Easy.
So, and it would just be so comforting, you know. It's like it makes you feel so good. Eating late at night is just one of the best things.
Oh, God.
It's up there with sex, and then eating late at night. It's like 1A and 1B. You know?
Oh, man.
But yeah, you can't do it because you feel awful,
Yeah.
and then like you stop doing it, and then if you do it like once, you're like, oh my God, like you just feel like handicapped.
Yeah, and I think I'm also to the point where age-wise, where I'm like, when I eat, I just want to like go take a nap.
Yeah,
And it's like that's another thing. It's like I don't want to eat till I'm content when I'm nowhere near a bed.
yeah.
I'm
So
like sleeping.
yeah, it's almost nice just to eat smaller meals or lighter stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't eaten anything today. I was starving, so I made a.
You mentioned like eating food late or having sex. Like I was thinking about a couple of nights where we'd eat late and then fuck. I'm like, that's yeah. Slept like a
that's
baby.
nice.
Slept like a baby. I was like, I'm gonna just like get knocked out. Yeah.
Sometimes you ever eat too much and then you're really tired, and then they try to have sex with you.
Yeah.
That's hard. And
Yeah.
You're like,
I wasn't hard, but that was
yeah. Like
it was like
I hate that.
yeah.
I'm like, morning sex, most energy.
Yeah, but they never want to do it in the morning.
No, I know.
They never do. I'm like, I was like, you know what? At this
They have
point,
to poop, and they don't want to have sex when they have to poop.
yeah, yeah. I think it was frustrating for me, and I don't know. A lot of times when I have sex, I do a lot of the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
and I get annoyed.
Yeah.
when
What are
they,
you, a man?
Huh?
What are you, a man?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Women get by with a lot just hanging out.
I mean, but here's the problem though.
They
When-
throw in every once in a while, but it's a lot of laying back and
yeah, and they dictate the time frame. Like I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. You know,
it is.
let's establish that it is
funny
consensual. It's consensual sex, but I get to dictate the time when I'm ready
I know.
physically.
I used to try to do a bit about that when I was younger. And
Yeah.
I never worked something out, but I was like, sex is fun for both parties, you know. I was like, and it's only up to the women, you know. And
Yeah.
It's like, but they'll be like, that's not true, you know.
Yeah.
You ever talk to a woman? They're like, I can't have sex with anyone. They're like gorgeous.
Yeah,
They're like, you know, they're like a 9.5, and they're like, I just can't find anyone to have sex with. And you're like, God damn it.
yeah.
Like,
And
fuck you. Or if you're single, you know, that's even worse. They say that to you.
I was doing crowd work this
Painful.
past weekend, and we were talking about that, and like I was like, "You're gorgeous. Like you could have any person in this room," and then she goes, "Any woman here could have any person in this room," and I go, "That may be true." But some of you ladies have to work harder when you're in that room. I was like, you can get away with not doing anything. I
Yeah.
was like, but some, and I just pointed in a general direction. There was like 3 ladies in that direction. And I go, well, some of these ladies are going to have to earn their keep. And
It's so funny.
it was kind of mean, you know, to that direction. But
It's
like,
fun. It's fun to be mean sometimes.
Yeah.
It's fun to be mean all the time. I have a mean sense of humor, and it's nice to be a nice person and be mean funny, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, the thing I always tell people, you can be divisive, mean, you can be political. Technically, you got to build the likability in the beginning,
Right?
of
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
And then once you have them, they're like, oh, well, okay, well, I didn't expect
He
this.
doesn't mean it.
Yeah, because
That's one of the best things when you get a crowd to where you could say anything.
Yeah.
And
Oh, God.
and that's a nice feeling, and you feel it. You could definitely feel that.
Yeah,
Like when you cross that threshold.
that was fun. This weekend, I was in Clearwater Beach, and it's a very touristy thing. Like we were literally above. Hulk Hogan has a restaurant and a gift shop.
Oh, okay, I had lunch across the street from there, and
okay.
we drove by and we're like, oh, comedy.
Okay, yeah,
There's a
so it's
little
upstairs.
sign.
Upstairs, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I actually went to the Hulk Hogan gift shop, and There's like a muscle shark girl that was working there.
Yeah.
You know, I got her to add me on Instagram. You know, gave her like a little merch keychain or whatever.
Sweet.
I was kind of hitting on her. You know,
Yeah.
until I saw her boyfriend. I'm like, oh, he's built like a shit brick house. I'm like,
he's an actual shark.
He's an actual.
He's just
shark.
in a tank.
Yeah, he's just yeah. It's just, you know,
That's my boyfriend, Bruce.
yeah, Bruce. Was it the shark from Finding Nemo?
Well, that's
it's
what they
also
call
David
Jaws.
The
shark from Jaws, and that's why they
Bruce.
did name it Nemo.
No, it's a name they gave the shark for Jaws, but that's also the shark from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, which
in
is
honor,
named after Jaws.
God damn it. That was so
No,
nerdy
no,
and
you're
childish.
just. I'm a movie. We're both movie nerds. So.
Yeah, but that mine was like the least manly example of that.
Hey,
Oh, from the kids movie? He's like,
Finding
no,
Nemo?
from the actual horror movie that scared everybody.
I ripped my shirt off. Jaws. I said Jaws.
Jaws, brother. Yeah, it was a funny.
Yeah, I drove by Hogan's Hangout or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
And I said, "Do you think he's in there?"
yeah. It was so funny because apparently that club Hogan's popped in like a time or two.
Yeah, I've heard
from
that.
what I heard. And not too long ago, Patton Oswalt did a drop-in spot at the.
That's fun.
Yeah. So it's,
How many people? Is it a big club? Or
both. Kenny Garcia. He owns this one in a place called Sunshine City in St. Pete.
Oh yeah,
and both of
I've
them
heard
are what
that.
they refer to as killbox rooms.
Okay.
So they literally like max capacity is 60.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big. It's
That's
like,
cool though. If you crush, you're like.
oh well, 30
destroying.
people in those rooms is fun. Like
Yeah,
both shows. I got lucky because there was one time at St. Pete at the St. Pete room where like something happened. There was a lot going on, and we only had like 10 people or something like that. Which honestly, in that room still feels like a crowd.
Yeah.
But to have both nights be 30 plus 40 range or whatever,
Yeah.
it was fun. I had people from all over the country. I on one show I had a back row full of people, Australian and New Zealand cats.
Oh, that's cool.
And I mean they were cool as hell. We were calling them pedophiles the whole night, dude. Because there was in that same show there was a hot mom, also follows me on Instagram. Hot mom brought her 2 kids, and then she brought her sister who's also hot. Like, and they were in the front row. And so one of the comic before me was doing crowd work about sex, and he gets to the kid, he goes, "I'm not saying a fucking word to you," and then moves on to the next person. And then one of the Australian or New Zealand guys was like, "No, talk to the 14-year-old bloke or whatever." And he goes, "No, we're not. They're not. I don't know what you do over there, you pedophile or whatever." And then that just started crowd work where every time this dude interjected and said anything, I just told him to shut up, you pedophile. We don't allow that here.
Funny.
Yeah, he was really cool. And it was fun because you always want to know like how your material works for like beyond Jacksonville or whatever city you're in. And then I was like,
I always think it's so cool when people do like shows in Europe or like Australia or wherever, just to like the opportunity to go to different countries to perform. That'd be
now I want to go to Australia or New Zealand or whatever and actually do a set there. Because like the whole time, I mean, I was crushing that back row, and I was like, I wasn't sure if some of it's translated well because, I'm doing the material and like when I'm in another state, I'm very mindful of like, maybe I should change out this supermarket for this supermarket or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just doing my set.
Localize it.
Yeah, because I'm doing my set. I mean, Publix is a Florida thing. It's
Got to say Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. And I'm just doing my stuff, and they're just responding. I'm like, oh, this is more translatable than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun. But it was just those rooms. Like I love theaters. I love big comedy clubs because more or less the money aspect. I mean, it's cool to have a big crowd, people that like your stuff. But like, if I had a choice, I would much rather be in an intimate room, 60 people that are just fucking ready to go.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah, because those shows are electric.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's good. Well, yeah, it's a fun area. We went out there in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's a nice. What I like about that from a business standpoint for him, it's like I was only headlining the 2 early shows, and then the second show had like a different lineup. But
How long did you do? An hour?
About 40 minutes. 40
Okay.
minutes, just because to keep the time constraint.
Yeah,
tight,
yeah. I was just curious. I was because I just wanted to try headlining more places and.
Yeah, well most places, if it's a club, they were usually require 40 at least.
Yeah.
If it's like a independent venue, usually, I mean, there's a lot of them now. They're like 30, 35.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I've
know,
done, which that's fun. Half hours are nice and easy.
Yeah. There was and then I jumped on the second show. The second show was like a showcase. It had a bunch of comics with like a shorter sets.
Yeah.
And then it was like every show had a different crowd. Except the first show, we had a nice little group of people stayed over and watched the second show. But we still had a nice chunk of people that were not there for the first show. And that was fun. Just like going up there, even though I had already planned on doing different material than the first show, I didn't have to. Because for the most part, most of the majority of the crowd was not from the first show.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. It's always fun in those type of rooms and environments where I could, like, if I wanted to, I could just do the same set. But I don't like doing that. I like to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Plus, the second show is like promoted specifically as like a dirtier show. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this joke and this joke and this joke, and I'm gonna do maybe this portion of this joke that I didn't talk about in the first show because it was like way too much. But it was fun.
Nice.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, I forgot what we were talking about before we got on to
The record.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're talking about, I haven't stopped thinking about it, is just like stuck porn.
Oh yeah, stuck porn.
I think part of it that, like, when I brought up that mom, like, her Instagram it's very pornish. It's like
yeah.
It's very
thirst trap or whatever.
Oh God, yeah. It's like, watch as I work out in the gym today, and it's literally her with her legs
She's
over
like,
her shoulders.
Here's my ass, and here's my ass.
Oh my
here's
God.
my ass.
And I almost want to ask, like, hey, do you have an OnlyFans? Because, yeah.
You got to check her link tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, stuck porn I always think is funny. They're always in like a dryer or like under a coffee table.
Oh yeah, something very easily accessible to get out of. And we were talking about that earlier.
I saw a dishwasher recently. I saw a combo dishwasher like stepsister thing, Terrible.
See, I want to watch actual stuck porn. I want to watch a woman stuck in a chimney, and he can't even fuck her. He just has to get like a pole
in
with
a
a
torn
dildo
Santa
on it.
Claus suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a woman in a parachute hanging from a tree, which is like 4 feet off the ground.
He takes a ladder and eats her pussy.
Yeah. He just pushes her and she swings back.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the parachute
like,
turns into like like a sex swing.
Yeah, like a pendulum.
That's funny.
Yeah. They porn. Yeah, it's ridiculous. What about the AI lady? AI porn. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
They have like they have like OnlyFans stuff, and they like will post pictures or videos or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're making like AI stuff like that now, so it'll like look like a person, but it's not. They're not real. They're just like AI generated.
Yeah.
You hear about this?
I mean, I've heard about it.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah. You going all Jay Leno on us?
Yeah.
No, I've heard about it, but I mean, I already been cranking out to non-real people. I mean, the Little Mermaid,
like the cartoon stuff.
Oh yeah.
Family Guy porn.
Yeah,
Lois.
Yeah. Well, actually, I like the live action porn parodies of these. I don't know if you've seen any of these. I don't know.
Only in movies, like as like a joke. But someone said that there was a Seinfeld one.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
What name a show and there's a porn parody. Yeah,
That's
I've cranked to. I'm not proud, but I've cranked to quite a bit of them. There was a Family Guy one. There's a scene or two.
Do you go by shows that you like the real show? You know, you're like, I love Breaking Bad, so I'm gonna jerk off to the,
I go by I like
the
a
porn
certain
version of Breaking
I like
Bad.
a certain character in that show.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I got to see
Jesse.
what the porn version of this character is like. Porn version of Lois. Porn version of Meg from Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
April O'Neil for the Ninja Turtles porn version, pretty solid. Of
The
the
turtles' dicks look like pickles.
I think her name is Sally or whatever from SpongeBob, the Squirrel Girl.
Oh,
The
I
porn
don't
version
know
of her?
SpongeBob. SpongeBob was after my time.
Okay, yeah, there's a SpongeBob porn parody, and I've seen it a couple times.
That's so funny.
I'm not proud to admit that I lost a nut to her sucking off Patrick or whatever.
I wonder if because like anime is so popular, if like hentai porn or like all that shit will be real popular with the youth. You know, the next generation.
Yeah, I can't. I haven't got into the tentacle stuff, even though there's
That's like Japanese stuff, right?
yeah. I mean, because
Japanese porn.
I think we had talked about the history of this. Like the hentai started was after World War II. There was a ban on obscene things,
Yeah.
and so they had to, in order to pass restrictions, they had to like. That's where a hentai came from. Was instead of penises, it was like tentacles. Like, oh, what's a tentacle?
Oh, because they couldn't show
yeah,
a dick.
yeah.
They couldn't show a dick going in, so they
Put a tentacle.
So
in
they're
there.
like, here, this is better.
this is better. A fucking
octopus.
fucking calamari cock over here. Yeah.
They're interesting folk over there.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. But they're they're leading the charge and creating all the robotic stuff that we bang.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely gonna be sex robots soon. I don't know if they have them, but
I give it 25 years before whatever's after Jin's.
when like a fleshlight version of an actual robot, you know, like a mainstream one, like a Coca-Cola sex robot, you know, like a brand name sex robot. You say 25 years?
in
I think it'll be faster.
I say in 25 years there's gonna be a whole generation of kids that are marrying these.
Marrying them,
marrying them, fucking them, and marrying them.
Yeah,
You know.
I agree. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably earlier than that.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine once they could like communicate, you know, like however basic that would be or whatever, they just respond. You're like, hey robot or whatever you name him.
Yeah.
Sally. Hey Sally, and she's like, hello Marcus. Good. How was your day? You know. Women don't actually say that. They want you to ask.
Yeah, that's
them
what's gonna ruin it. Is
You
when,
ask
when
them
they start
about their
actually
day.
getting complacent.
Yeah.
This is gonna piss some people off. This episode.
Our
Yeah,
our
yeah.
podcast just turns into misogyny. You know,
Yeah.
we got to change it to the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Al Bundy
Oh,
symbol.
Tay.
Oh,
Is it okay to beat your wife? Oh, Tay.
it's so funny. You look back and what's her name? Peg was always like, portrayed as annoying, and Al hated her, and she'd always like want to sleep with him, and he'd be like, "Oh, Peg," you know, like
yeah.
And but she was cute.
Oh,
She
yeah,
was
yeah.
hot.
Katie Seagal.
Yeah,
Katie Seagal. I mean, even
she
now,
had wild hair, but it was fun.
I don't think there's ever been a time Katie Seagal
Yeah,
wouldn't have done it for me. You know what I mean? Right now, she's like 65 or something. I don't know.
still going.
Still would.
Man. Well, nice.
Yeah. I just imagine 25 years from now, like, I don't know what that machine is. What is that?
That's to groom the dogs. It's like a vacuum, and then that hose goes to clippers, which are right behind the thing, and that's like all the attachments.
Yeah.
But it's like hair clippers, and then the vacuum sucks the hair into that little thing, so it's not like all over the place.
In 25 years, like right now, we're like, oh, it's a device for the hairs, for the trimming your puppies. 25 years, so I come over, introduce me.
Aren't you gonna
introduce me? What is your name?
Oh wow. I love the circumference of your tube.
That's the perfect circumference.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. It does a good job. It saved me money. Because this little it costs more to cut their hair than my hair.
Yeah.
And then women forget it. Their haircuts are a ton. But I mean, dogs come in second. They're like, men, guys are so simple, you know.
Yeah.
My haircut, you know. Well, it used to be like $15, $20.
Yeah.
It's a little.
I haven't been to a barber in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when I had hair, I used to cut my own hair. I would trim my own hair.
Yeah.
I would just like cut when it got long into the sides. I'll just take a trimmer and put it on a low setting or whatever. Yeah.
Saves money, you know. It's
Yeah.
annoying to have to pay for it every time. And then it's fun. This one loves it. He like lays on his back like he's at the spa.
Oh,
He
yeah,
stretches out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
That's good. Well, yeah. Anything else before we wrap up?
be careful drinking Delta-9.
I know.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like I've had alcohol and then had a beer and then or a White Claw and then drove somewhere. I shouldn't do this, drinking and driving or whatever, but it didn't fuck me up. I was very coherent and
one White Claw.
But this Delta now that I'm like, oh, I get now why they say don't drink and drive. Don't drink that shit and drive. That's That is a I'm getting an Uber or I'm staying put type of drink. That was insane. One thing I didn't like about it though is it gave me increased my libido, but the rest of me, So it was like he was conscious. The rest of my body was just dead, and then I don't know what was happening there.
It was just head and dick.
It was it was weird. I felt like
Everything else was shut off.
everything, all systems down.
Well, fools out there, go find Delta-9 and try it, and then report back to us.
You'll have a catatonic boner.
See if you get locked in like Marcus.
Yeah, zone in, ready to
Hell
fuck.
yeah. Well, it's not cool.
To drink Delta-9 and drive.
But it's cool to be foolish.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.